All right, good evening, everybody. If you'll go ahead and find a seat, and we will try to go ahead and get going with the 63rd Annual Installation and Awards Ceremony. My name is Jody McLeod. I have the privilege of being the mayor of the town of Clayton, and this evening I am presiding over our ceremony. I'd like to ask Drake Miracle if he'd come up and give the invocation. I'm sorry, Derek. Yeah. It's the whole, I need eyeglasses. Welcome.
All right, thank you. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for bringing us here safely, and we also pray you bring us home safely as well. We ask for strength, for support, for knowledge, for wisdom, for discernment, for our business leaders, the community leaders, the elected officials, for the citizens of our community, that you will help us to make decisions that not only reflect what's best for Clayton and the surrounding communities, but also what leads us in your will as well. I give thanks every day that I can wake up in a community that I know will do more for me than I will ever possibly be able to do for it. And Lord, I also have a smile on my face when I know that we share part of your name when we can call ourselves God's country. And we know that you are the yesterday, the today, and the tomorrow, and we are looking forward to tomorrow. In your name we pray. Amen.
Next, I'm going to ask Kevin Barnes, our 2013 Chamber Chairman, to come forward.
All right, I want to thank everybody for coming out again tonight. As Jody said, we greatly appreciate you guys for being here. I've got the list of some good people to introduce, some elected officials. These are the folks that registered. Not everybody is in attendance. We've got District Court judges, Judge Mary Wells, Judge Karen Stewart, and if you're here, please stand up. District Attorney Susan Doyle, Clerk of Court Will Crocker. For the Board of Education, we have Larry Strickland. Don't look like anybody's here, does it? If somebody will just start standing up, we'll just clap for anybody. Dorothy Johnson, Keith Branch, Dr. Peggy Smith, Butler Hall, Donna White, Superintendent Dr. Ed Kroom, and going to move on to the Johnston County Commissioners. And before I introduce them, I would like to publicly thank them for the $100,000 that they contributed to the Inclusion Park and the Miracle Field. So Tony Braswell, Cookie Pope, Ted Godwin, Chad Stewart. I know you're here. Jeff Carver.
The other commissioners there at another function because we had a little conflict with another chamber that we already agreed to be in. So on their behalf, please accept that apology.
And I assume Rick Hester is involved in that too. Perfect. And I don't know if anybody's here. You know, we've got quite a bit of candidacy going for the clerk of court. So is anybody here for that? Everybody can stand up. I think everybody's running. So thank y'all again.
And Craig Olive. Good job. I think in the future, maybe the Chamber of Commerce should start charging $10 to everybody to have your name announced. It's a great way to make a little extra money. Including the mayor, who only makes $20 a day. Welcoming up next will be Kay Scott, and she is the chair of the Clayton Wind Group. Kay? Yeah.
Good evening. Am I too loud? First, I'd like to thank the Chamber for allowing Clayton Wynn to participate in the award ceremony and honoring an outstanding businesswoman in our community. For those of you that don't know about Clayton Wynn, in networking, we are a relatively new organization. The core group started meeting in March 2012. We formed our first executive committee in April 2012. Since then, we have grown to around 60 members, and we're still growing. I am so honored to serve as chair to this awesome group of successful women around Clayton. Excuse me, I have a cold, so apologize for that. Our mission is Clayton professional women working together to empower one another through leadership and commitment to the community. At this time, I'd like to ask for all the WIN members that are here tonight to stand, if you would. This year, we had 3 nominees for our Outstanding Businesswoman of 2013. They are Vicki Adams, Jennifer Lawrence, and Martha Stovall. If you 3 would stand, please. All of which are very active in the Chamber and our community, and all are deserving of this award. Unfortunately, there can only be one. The winner was determined by a unanimous vote of our membership. Our winner has a long list of community involvement. Among those are Clayton Chamber of Commerce, Clayton Women in Networking, the Women's Club, Business and Professional Women of Raleigh, Friends of the Library, Clayton High School Alumni Association, Clayton Area Ministries, and Harbor. She also supports various other events and charities in our community by attending them and donating items for their cause. She's a member of the First Baptist Church. And if you have not guessed who our winner is by now, this will most likely give it away. Our winner is a Mary Kay Independent Sales Director. She has been an independent business owner in direct sales and marketing since March of 2002. She has served in the role of sales director since 2007 with responsibilities of recruiting, training, coaching, mentoring women in becoming successful in their own independent Mary Kay businesses. During her career with Mary Kay, she has been on the National Queen's Court of Sales for 4 years, a star consultant for 46 quarters, and has earned 3 gold medals for team building and 2 Mary Kay career cards. Prior to Mary Kay, she enjoyed helping others achieve the dream of home ownership through her mortgage brokering career. She is a native and resident of Clayton, which is hard to find these days. She and her husband, Kenny, have been married for 31 years, have 2 sons, Chris, a pilot and a captain in the U.S. Air Force, and Parker, a junior at NC State University. Please join me in congratulating Vicki Adams as the Clayton Wynn Outstanding Businesswoman.
Oh, that gets the ball rolling when you give away that first award. Now we can relax a little bit. Congratulations. Well deserved. Next up, I'd like to bring our 2014 Chamber Chairman, Mr. Tony Brown, to the front. Tony?
Good evening. You everybody hear me okay? Am I too far away or too close to the mic? Is that good? Okay. Having served on this board for the past 3 years, I have seen the amount of work and effort it takes to serve as chairman of the board. This position carries with it an insurmountable amount of time and dedication. Over the past 3 years, each chairman, Deidre Blount, James Lipscomb, and now Kevin Barnes, have given of themselves their time and talent, not only to move the chamber in the right direction, but to continue the momentum set in motion when they assume the role. Each chairman has improved upon the prior, leaving their mark and ensuring the next person is in position to do the same. They have all been driven towards continuous improvement and always striving for the chamber to be better. Kevin has fallen right in line over this past year and has provided the chamber with the type of leadership that has resulted in the chamber having another banner year and leaving the role in great shape for continuing the wonderful progress already made. It is with great pleasure for me to present Kevin Barnes with his past Chairman Award and thank him for his hard work and dedication.
I was told to speak and keep it short. I think I was told that 2 or 3 times to keep it short. Thank you, Tony, for those kind words. Basically, when I took over as chairman for 2013, I had one major goal, and that was to continue to see the chamber go toward its financial footing, financial stability, and I think we're getting there. And I wish I could say it was all me. It's not. It's for everybody here in the room who's here tonight supporting the chamber. It's for the board who I served with. And I've got a couple folks here I want to call to attention. I wish I could tell everybody to stand up and go through one name by one. Unfortunately, I just don't have the time. So I want to go through some folks who I want to thank for giving their volunteering and time to the chamber and help the chamber be the success it was in 2013. So first of all, I'd like to recognize Jeff Carver and the golf committee for the work they did. James Lipscomb and Diane Bean, who were coordinated the Harvest Festival and their committee. Mr. John Long and his committee for Squilling on the Square. Ms. Hannah Palis and the work she did on the Clayton Christmas Parade. Mr. Don Craig and the Education Committee. Cindy Nanez and her Business Expo Committee. Vicki Adams and her work for the Ambassador Committee. Tony Brown and the 5-year planning committee, who I think you'll hear a little bit more later on. And Jim Godfrey for his constant eye on the budget and making sure we stay within our numbers. So we greatly appreciate that. And lastly, for the board that I serve with, if anybody from the board for 2013, if you're here, if you will, please stand. And if we can, give them a round of applause for all the hard work. And again, thank you guys for everybody being here supporting the chamber. Again, without you guys, we wouldn't be here. So thank y'all.
So, as your chairman in 2014, it is my hope and desire to continue that tradition and keep the momentum going not only in 2014, but well into the future. So as Kevin was talking about the 5-year plan, one way to ensure progress that I'm sure we're all acquainted with is to setting goals. Some of us set personal goals, we set professional goals, we set financial goals, but we all know the benefit and importance of setting goals. In thinking about setting goals for the chamber, the board decided to embark on a journey to create a 5-year strategic plan. Creating a plan that will give us a roadmap on specifically how the chamber is going to grow, progress, and succeed in becoming a chamber that serves its business community through sound business, management, and financial practices. I have the wonderful opportunity to chair the 5-year planning committee along with some very smart, talented, and energetic people, which I would like to recognize at this time. Our president, Jim Godfrey, Ann Game, Melissa Oliver, and Jim Paracone, who have faithfully met with me over the past year to create our first 5-year plan. This 5-year plan is a dynamic plan, not one that will sit on a shelf once complete and never be looked at until 5 years from now, or when someone remembers that we had a plan at one point in time. It will never be complete. We will continue updating it quarterly and plan for future events by setting goals, creating metrics, and continuously updating the roadmap on how we're going to reach our goals. Let me tell you a little bit on how we arrived where we are today and how it relates to the plan. In our first couple of meetings, we came up with and documented the Chamber's strengths, Chamber's weaknesses, the Chamber's opportunities, and Chamber threats. Then we contacted Chamber members in the area to see how they compared to some of our high-level areas. We seemed to be in line with the majority, but most chambers, while they had a program of work similar to ours, didn't have a strategic plan, a roadmap on how to ensure growth and progress. Before we progressed any further, we wanted to make sure that we were creating this plan with the voice of the membership, with your best interests in mind. So if you recall, we had a survey in February of 2013, and as with most surveys, as one might expect, we received a modest response, but good responses, and good data nonetheless. One question was, what do you think the Chamber brand is? i.e., what does the Chamber stand for? And here are a couple of comments that I'd like to share with you. The Chamber brand is to further the interests of businesses and to advocate for the business community. Another comment, it is supposed to be representing businesses to the community, including advocating on their behalf and promoting economic development. For comments like this, the survey data, and all the other data collection that we had done, we were able to group it all into 6 top priorities, or basically 6 top strategic areas. From there, we created a multi-generation project plan, and there you have it, our first 5-year plan. Gen 1 goes from 2013 to 2014, Gen 2 to 15 to 16, and Gen 3 from 2017 to 2018. We're very methodical. We know what we're going to do. So the top 6 strategic areas are operations, which does include governmental affairs and economic development. The second is events, then brand and marketing, personnel, finances, and membership. After creating an initial plan, we wanted to get started on some key areas in our first gen. Now here, I have to give credit where credit is due. Ever since I've been on the board, our president, Godfrey, has always said that we have to become more engaged with local, state, and federal government, as well as economic development. So it goes without saying, based on the survey responses, feedback from membership, and direction from our president, we decided to pursue the following 3 areas in 2013 and will continue in 2014. Governmental affairs, economic development, and finances. Number 1, governmental affairs. We created a task force, and then we asked them to come up with recommendations for a governmental affairs committee as to their purpose, objective, function, and membership. April Culver, the task force committee chair, Ruth Anderson, Carolyn Samet, did I say that last name right? Bruce Naglin, and Todd Stutz all did a great job in creating and completing a document which, after the board approved, handed over to a committee chair that will now execute that governmental affairs plan. Here's a quick excerpt from the Governmental Affairs Task Force document. The Chamber's diverse membership includes small businesses, industries, professional firms, financial institutions, nonprofit organizations, government agencies, and individuals. Working closely with these members, the Chamber can help make government more business-friendly and stimulate the economic environment of the area. The Chamber can build relationships with elected officials from both parties at all levels of government to ensure the voice of the Clayton area business community is heard loud and clear on a consistent and ongoing basis. This is our first committee, led by John Pauline, that was created as a result of the 5-year planning efforts. Our next priority was to work on Economic Development Task Force. And this task force is led by Rosa Andrews, who's going to be the committee chair. She and the team that she assembles will do the same as a governmental task force. They will create a document with their recommendations for an economic development committee to their purpose, objectives, function, and membership. And again, upon board approval, we'll then turn it over to a committee that will execute that plan as well. So we will move towards those first two goals in 2014. And finally, finances. Simply stated, my goal is to end the year with no outstanding debt. Again, with tremendous leadership from previous chairmen and the board, we have made great progress in reducing our liabilities. Additionally, we've started to fund a small capital reserve account to plan for future capital improvements, which is all part of the 5-year plan. But there are still major projects needed. One specifically, and near and dear to all of those that have sat around the boardroom table in the conference room, is our chairs. And for some reason, we all feel younger as we sit at the table because the chairs are too low and it looks like little kids sitting around a grown-up table. If anyone has any members have any ideas or suggestions or recommendations, I am all ears. I would love to just have normal chairs in our boardroom before my tenure is over. There are other projects as well, like equipping the boardroom or the conference room with some technology. Along with normal chairs, this would allow us to provide an updated conference room for our members that has suitable conference room technology in order to collaborate not only in the conference room, but also potentially remotely. So having a speakerphone, being able to do online application sharing or video sharing, etc. So that's our top 3 strategic areas that I would like to focus on this year. There are obviously a lot of other events, festivals, activities, ribbon cutting ceremonies, after-hour events, member breakfast exchanges, et cetera, you guys know, that the staff plans and works hard at throughout the year. So I implore and I beg of you, please, please, a lot of hard work and a lot of time and effort is put into all of this activity. It's so rewarding to the staff when they see when they see folks arrive and enjoy the fruits of their labor. I know we're all busy, but if you could, please try to attend as many of these events as possible. We do it for you. They do it for you. We do it for our membership. We do it for our community. Again, I thank you for giving me the opportunity and look forward to serving as your chairman in 2014.
He is so right, because when I was helping this year, I felt unempowered, weak, pathetic mayor. That is so funny that you mentioned that. Thank you, Tony. I'll tell you briefly that, it is so refreshing and reassuring to see such a wonderful group of professional men and women who do and give as much time as you all do for the betterment of Clayton. And it does take everybody working together. And I can assure you on behalf of the town of Clayton, we're going to help you any way we can. Awesome. We're going to move into Clayton economy. And, Mayor Bell and Dunn, he gets to have the State of Durham address, and Raleigh gets to have a State of Raleigh address. And someone asked me not too long ago, why don't you have your State of Clayton address? And I said, why? All you have to do is look around. Really, Clayton tells its story every day. You can see new development. You can see business and industry. You can see retail. You can see school. You can see everything, all encompassing. And Clayton's story is told every day. But tonight, we're going to focus a little bit on economic development, because the elected officials in Clayton have a very strong commitment and dedication to economic development, and we know the value of it for the town and for its citizens. And my town manager, Steve Biggs, had knee surgery. Last night was the first time in 10 years that I have been the mayor and didn't have Steve Biggs up here as the manager. And I wasn't really sure if we would be able to do it without him. But as you know, every good leader creates a team that makes it happen in their absence. So I'm not going to fire Steve Biggs. But, Steve, So tonight, Steve asked two of his colleagues if they would come on his behalf and talk to you about Clayton and Clayton's economy. So we have our planning director, Mr. David DeYoung, and our new public information officer, Ms. Stacy Beard.
Well, Steve is definitely sorry that he couldn't be here tonight. He actually called me in his office after you canceled the chamber event last week and said, I have good news and I have bad news. The bad news is they canceled the event, it's next week, and I'm having surgery. He said, the good news is I already wrote the presentation, so you get to do it, keep it short. Mr. Godfrey said, keep it short, but we'll do our best to keep it short. As everyone knows, we had a recession. This recession was nasty. A lot of people lost jobs, lost wealth. People went into foreclosure on their houses. Businesses closed. People were let go. And that happened for quite a bit of time, and now we're starting to see a little bit of recovery. So the question is, where are we now? To really talk about where we are, we really need to talk about where we were. I have up on the board here for you sales tax revenue trends for the town of Clayton, and what you'll notice is it trended upward for a long time. From 2001 to 2002, the sales tax in the town grew by 10%. During that time frame, we were growing. There was a lot of influx of population, so there was new money in the area, people were spending money. And the people that were living here were becoming more prosperous as land sales were occurring. From 2002 to 2003, that increased again to 17.5%. And just when we thought it couldn't get any better than that, the next year, 2003 to 2004, we actually grew by 35.5% in sales tax. And that trend continued on until about 2010. Actually, it continued on until 2010, when all of a sudden, for the first time in 30 years, there was a dip in sales tax increase. And that dip dropped the revenues for the first time. And you can see up on the chart there that we dropped down, and then now finally we're starting to recover and go back up in the upward trend. Another good indicator of how we're doing is building permits for new construction. In 2006, at the bottom of the chart, or at the top left of the chart, in 2006 we had $860,000 in revenue from building permits. It was a very good year, but a downward trend began there. Everyone knows that 2006 was the year that things really started to shift down. In 2007, we dropped to $630,000. 2009, we were at $340,000. And in 2010, we bottomed out at $269,000. So that was a 4-year reduction of $600,000 in building permit revenue for the town. A very good indication of how bad things really were. Luckily for us, it wasn't as bad as it could have been because we had large developments like Grifols and Caterpillar in town. Without them, it could have been much worse. Most of the money that was coming in up until 2006 was from residential and commercial development. Industrial was moving along, but there wasn't really any major things happening. Grifols and Caterpillar, however, continued to build during that recession, which brought in the money that came in. Residential new construction values fell from $58 million in 2006 to $14 million in 2010. And just to get that full, you begin to realize the full impact of that when you think of those numbers. So how does that compare today? So far this fiscal year, which is not up on the chart, we are at $475,000 in building permit revenue. That's really good considering last year we were at $554,000 and we're only halfway through the year. These numbers that I'm giving you are just through January, so we still have until the end of the fiscal year of June 30th, to get to those numbers. So the value of new construction has created permit revenue of about $95 million. About 18 million of that is residential. And that's well below the pre-recession peak of 58 million for residential. So things are trending upward, but they're still not back to where they were, but it's definitely, we're moving in the right direction. So we are on the way up. Some things to note, our commercial development is on the rise. Our medical sector is doing great. If you've been out on 42 corridor, you see all the medical that's been going up and is under construction. As the corridor continues to grow, we're going to see other opportunities. We have commercial development, we have residential development, and we have more medical development happening. And we've had a very large demand for market rate apartment complexes. And those apartment complexes, we'll talk about the numbers in a couple of minutes, are really serving the new development that's coming in terms of Grifols and Caterpillar and other commercial sector-based and industrial sector-based development that has new, younger employees coming in that need starter homes or are just moving into the area for the first time. And we'll see those employees, as they grow with the town, move from those apartments into single-family residential. And with that being said, the only exception to things moving in an upward direction is the single-family residential market. What you see if you drive around town is the developments that started up pre-recession are now actively constructing and finishing out, and that's a good thing. We haven't seen any new commercial or new residential development products start up yet. It seems like the goal here now is to absorb the inventory that's existing and then start with new development projects. So I want to talk a little bit about the restaurant activity that's going on around town. There's some pretty exciting restaurants that are coming in. Starting up the upper left, Manning's Restaurant is a new restaurant that will be opening up in downtown Clayton. This restaurant was slated to open at the end of last year. They fell a little bit behind in their construction schedule, but it should be an exciting new place to eat in downtown Clayton. The Cleveland Draft House, which is at the corner of 70 Business and Shotwell Road, will be opening again this year, hopefully. They're a little bit behind schedule as well. They wanted to be open by April. We're hoping to see them open by maybe June or July of this year. The Backyard Bistro. This is an interesting project. They have purchased the Wendy's in front of Walmart, and they will be renovating that entire building. And if you've ever been to the Backyard Bistro, there's one other in the Triangle area. It's actually right outside of PNC Park, and it's a sports bar that serves really good food. Char Grill opened up this year. And we've had Wendy's remodel. That was a scrape. They actually tore the entire Wendy's down, as you know, and rebuilt it from scratch. That is a prototype for Wendy's. They've been showing that to all the Wendy's franchise owners throughout the eastern United States so they can see what they will get when they renovate their restaurant. Sheetz, everyone, that was probably the biggest question I got over the last year is when is Sheetz coming? When is Sheetz coming? When is Sheetz coming? Sheetz is coming. If you drive out to the corner of 42 and Amelia Church, they are actually, the structure is up. It's going to take a little bit of time from the finish, but they are well under their way. And Pizza Hut. That is a remodel that was definitely necessary. It seems that as the economy has started to pick back up and new restaurants want to move in, the existing restaurants are realizing they have to step up their game a little bit. The Pizza Hut was tired. It needed renovating really bad. If you went in there at lunch hour, there might be 2 or 3 people in there. So hopefully with the remodel, we'll see a new revitalized Pizza Hut restaurant. Medical activity, of course, one of the exciting things that are going on is the construction of the 50-bed addition to JMH. That is underway. And right across the street from JMH is a project that was approved last year. Actually, it was 2 years ago now, but they're still working on financing. It's called 42 West, and it is 70,000 square feet of medical office to support hospital use. So much like Spring Branch, which is adjacent to the hospital, if you go to Spring Branch now, there's a 36,000 square foot 2-story office that supports orthopedics. There's an imaging center there. They have a mirror image sister building. The building in the upper right-hand corner is the 36,000 square foot building that's out there. It has a Duke Medicine sign on the side of it. There's a sister building for that. It's another 36,000 square foot building that will also support medical office. Directly across the street from that, within the Spring Branch development, is a new nursing home facility which is going to be built. It's Britt Haven. It's going to be a 100-bed nursing home facility. And in the same development on the far side, on Johnson Estate Road, is Gabriel Manor, and that is a 77-bed assisted living facility. In terms of industrial activity, Caterpillar, Grifols, and Novo Nordisk are big players. Caterpillar has finished their research and development facility off of Glen Laurel Road. It's a beautiful facility. If you haven't had the opportunity to get out there and see it, I don't know if you can get by the guardhouse, but if you can, no, you can't. You can't see it, but maybe you can look at the aerials when Google updates. Novo Nordisk is right now on Powhatan Road is under construction with a 93,000 square foot addition. They're putting in additional lines for their product and warehousing space. And Grifols seems to be, every time they turn around and build something, they come back and they want to build something else. So this year, they've already been in twice for parking lot expansions for new warehouse development that hasn't even started going up. If you are out there and you see the metal frame that's going on in the background, that's their automated storage and retrieval system for plasma. It's a plasma warehouse that's fully automated. It's 77,000 square feet. And hopefully that'll be completed this year. And there are rumors that there is a 5-story office building also planned for that site. But you didn't hear that from me. Apartment activity, we touched on that at the very beginning of this. And we have 4 major apartment complexes that will be coming into Clayton. They kind of form the diamond that's up there. At the top is Riverwood Haven. It is a 60-unit, 55-plus development. It'll be located kind of behind the Riverwood Shopping Center. So there's, for those 55-plus residents that move in, they'll have the food line right there, as well as the Realo Pharmacy and some of the activities and recreation amenities that are available across the street. Moving clockwise, apartments at Amelia Station, that is going directly behind the sheets on Amelia Church and 42. Those apartment units, there's 216 in that. They're 3-story buildings. At the bottom is the Arbors. The Arbors is part of a project called East Village. East Village will also have commercial properties and 152 single-family units. The apartment component is 192 residential units, and it is located right off of Front Street Extension. I don't know if you guys have driven around by the post office or on the other side where 42 comes in, but you can see that the new road, Front Street Extension, is actually in place from, I don't have a picture of it unfortunately, but from 42 all the way to a roundabout, which is where the apartments start. If you drove back there, the apartments are built. They're actually, all the buildings are up. 3 buildings, I believe, have been CO'd so far, so they're getting really close to being able to start leasing those facilities out. And last but not least, in the in the left-hand side is the Promenade. That was the most recent apartment complex that's come in. And that's located across the street from CVS and Wells Fargo. It's a 288-unit apartment complex, so I guess I should have said it's behind Bojangles. It probably would have been easier. It's behind Bojangles. It's also a market rate community. It'll be gated and has really nice amenities. So we see that 800 units, pretty much, plus or minus, coming into Clayton. And this is obviously a demand that's been realized by the development community for this area based on the amount of growth we're having. Population-wise, and as everyone knows, in 2000 we were about 6,900 residents. In 2010 we were at 16,120 residents, which is about 153% increase in resident. And I would guess if you asked me what the population was today, I'd say we're probably somewhere in the 17,500 range and growing somewhere between 2 and 3% annually. So with that growth comes new people. With those new people comes new business and more people to support existing business. So these are all really good things. And just to nod at downtown and mentioning Manning's again, we've got activity downtown and it's all really good activity. As I said, Front Street Extension is coming in. That Front Street Extension is going to pass by the spinning mill and the post office. And the spinning mill has been vacant for as long as I've been here, which is 3 years, and it's been mostly vacant for a lot longer than that. And the owners of that spinning mill have come up with a pretty unique development plan for it, which includes multiple recreation uses and restaurants, and they've got financial backing, and they're going to be starting that soon, hopefully this year. So we should see some movement on the old spinning mill. They're going to break out the windows that were bricked in and put new windows back in. So you should start to see that taking shape. Deep River Brewery. How could we not talk about beer? Deep River Brewery opened up in the Bartex building, and since they've opened up, they've already expanded their line. I know they're talking about going into bottling or canning. So these are things that we're going to see. And as the first brewery in Johnson County, legal brewery, I think is the catchphrase, we're excited about it. We're excited to see them grow, and we're excited to have them. And I already mentioned Manning's. I think Manning's is unique in that it could be, if they get it done the way they plan on having it done, the first place you can go downtown and eat on an upper story outside. So the outdoor patio should be a unique feature when we talk about Manning's in that restaurant downtown. So that brings us to quality of life. And, you know, we understand at the town that quality of life brings people here. It brings people here for new business, to support business, to live, because it's a great place to live. Some of the things that we've done to encourage people to use the facilities is, of course, we opened up East Clayton Community Park. It's very popular, and we're trying to increase our adult activities. We have a lot of kids' activities, but that park has offered up enough fields and land to have more adult activities. We've also land banked 89 acres of future parkland at the Neuse River and North O'Neill. So those 89 acres, and we're looking at acquiring an additional 39 acres adjacent to that, will be another future park site right down near the Riverwalk on the Neuse and Sam's Branch. Of course, that leads to Sam's Branch and the Riverwalk on the Neuse. Those are two greenways we have. They've become very popular. People come from all over the place to use them. They bike down from Raleigh. The only thing that I hear in the planning department is, when are you going to connect those greenways with downtown? And that's something that we're working on. Some other things that Steve wanted me to mention is that when you take a comparative look at our crime statistics, Clayton shines as one of the safest towns in the region. And we have significantly enhanced staffing for fire response, and we have 24/7, 365 presence now at both of our fire stations. And with that, I just want to add that social media and internet and getting the word out about the things we have is important to business, and that's really where Stacy Beard comes in, so I will pass it off to Stacy.
Hey, Stacy.
Yes, hurry up. Yes. Yeah. So spreading the word, one of the most important things, you know, what good is all the economic development and the quality of life if we're not telling anybody about it? And one of the first things the town did as we started to take all these initiatives in development was hire me. It wasn't me. It was the fact that they hired a public information officer, that the town leaders saw that there was a need for somebody full-time to tell the story of Clayton. So now we have a public information officer who works 365, 24/7. And when people want to find out about Clayton, they're not calling me. One of the first places they go is the internet, of course, right? And this is what I feel like is the portal to the town. It's our website. Oh, our website. Our website needs some love, and it's due for an update. And that's what I've been working on for the past few months, almost more on that than other things that I should be working on, because I feel like it's so important. And you guys are the first people to see the first glimpse in the public of the new website that we're working on. So as you can see, it is. Now this is just a prototype, we're still tweaking it, but as you can see, it leaves the stale government feel behind. It almost looks like a tourism site. We do want people to fall in love. Hey, huh? We do want people to fall in love with Clayton. It'll give us a better, one of the things people complain about is they can't find anything on our website. Navigation's gonna be key on this website, prominent pictures and featuring our events, making it a fun experience where they'll stay to find out all about Clayton. and doing a better job of featuring our businesses. We do a poor job of that with our website right now. And so that's one of the things we're working on. One of the greatest things about this website, though, is that it's going to be mobile. Right now, if you go to our website on your phone, I mean, if you know, where's my phone? Gosh, I don't have my phone with me. But that's where people are going. In a few years, people will be going to their cell phones for information more than desktop computers. Cell phones will usurp desktop computers. And we need a mobile site. We need a site that's responsive. And that means it's going to know that you're looking at our website on your Droid, you're looking at our website on your iPad, and it will fit the pictures to that screen. It'll be easy to navigate with drop-down menus, featuring pictures, great links to things. Social media is something people go to on their cell phones, and we've recognized the importance of that. Just a quick glimpse of, we're doing pretty good. It compared us to a couple of the surrounding towns. Garner, you see, has 5 new, this is a weekly summary. 5 new likes for Garner, 1 new check-in, 1,423 weekly total reach. Nightdale doing a little bit better. Zebulon, oh, poor Wendell. And Clayton, we're doing pretty good, you know, and this is just in a week. So we like people visiting. One of the things I did also is I started a Twitter account, so the town now has a Twitter presence. We're looking into Instagram and Pinterest and all those things that people like to spend lots of time on. One of the biggest things, the biggest hit ever on Facebook was something to do with economic development. It was the announcement that the Cleveland Draft House was coming. And in a 24-hour period, we had 18,000 hits on that one post. So as Dave said, now you all know the power of beer. But social media, very important. And one of the second, I think, most popular web search browser is YouTube. And one of the most successful and popular things that we've done is our Terry Bradshaw Today in America. I'm not going to play it because I know we don't have much time. But if you haven't seen it, I'd hope you would go to our website. This was a wonderful 5 minutes. Obviously coming from the television world, you know I believe in the power of video. This, better than a website, better than a news article, captures all that we have to offer. And it has had more than 7,000 hits on our YouTube channel. People go to YouTube, they want to see what a community is like, and this does a wonderful job. Now, there have been naysayers who I feel are short-sighted, who don't see the value in a town paying to promote itself. But we're seeing the benefits. We're getting calls from people. We're getting very positive feedback. In fact, I want to share with you an email that the mayor got from Durwood Stevenson, who's a developer, a very prominent business person in the Clayton area. And he said to the mayor, this clip on the internet by Terry Bradshaw's Today in America presentation was great. You, Lynn Austin, he was referencing Lynn because she was in the video talking about the Clayton Center and our cultural and arts. You are all involved, did a great job selling Clayton, much to be proud of. I'm actually forwarding the clip to a group out of state that I'm working with on possible location in Clayton. Good work. And that's an economic development tool. Our website, this YouTube video, that's what's important. And so, you know, I feel like I've only scratched the surface with spreading the word. I don't do enough right now, but these new tools will help us tell the story better. And I think there's lots more great things coming for Clayton, and it's very much in thanks in part to you and all the work that you do. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Let me see if I can tie this together. A couple weeks ago, we made the decision that while nobody actually wanted a speaker, so to speak, at our annual meeting, we thought as a collective body it was important for all of you to know what is going on in this community, particularly when you got the naysayers, as Stacy alluded to earlier. We have got so many good things going on that I want to thank the mayor, thank Steve, David, and Stacy for doing this, because we wanted to bring it all together to show you what's about to happen in this community. I dare say, though, David, one thing you did leave out. Cindy, I think you would agree with me. Did you notice the chart went up since we started Shop Local? And I want to thank the town for doing that. I wrote it in Kevin Barnes' remarks, but he forgot it. You got sidetracked. But that's important because that helps our schools, it helps our fire department, it helps our police department. It's important that we do that shop local. So I want to tie all that in together. I'm going to ask Kevin if you'll just stand up here, Kevin. We've got some outstanding. You know, I can't forget about this. I just thought about it. And I'm going to embarrass both of these women beyond belief. Hi, Melissa. Hey, Ann. Did you all hear Tony Brown about our boardroom and our chairs? It only took about a year to figure this out, but Melissa then finally said, you know, I think I was the executive director who ordered these chairs. So I've asked Melissa and Ann if they would take it upon themselves to find somebody in this audience that will buy us new chairs. So, where's he at? So Tony doesn't look like a Smurf when he's gathered. So if any of you would like to buy us new chairs, did you see one of these two young ladies? 4 years ago, the Chamber of Commerce had 4 chamber champions. These are folks who have decided that they're not only going to pay their dues, they're going to give us a pretty substantial check to help sponsor a number of things in the chamber. This year, we've got 16 chamber champions. In 4 years, we've gone from 4 to 16. So we want to recognize them at this time. And the first one goes, it's a bronze one, to First Citizen. Thank you, Kevin. And I think I know who wrote the check out for this one, so I'll ask Kay Scott to come up from Residential Rentals. Hensley might have said yes, but I know who wrote the check out. Thank you, Kay. Yeah. And from our good folks, KB Homes, I know there's representation here. Thank you, chairs, right? Good. We need those chairs. Scott, Parish Pulling Young Wealth Management. You want to come up, Scott? I would invite John up, but he's always giving me grief. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. And our good folks at BB&T, is David still out holding the bar down? No, there's David. I got to tell you, David's our incoming treasurer, and he got promoted, and he was in the job for 2 days, then he got promoted again. Thank you, David. Appreciate it. Hope you can find
I'll write you a bigger check
hope,
next year.
hope you can keep a job. I happen to serve also on this young lady's board of directors, and she has not only been outstanding to our chamber, she's been outstanding to all the chambers here in Johnson County. Donna from the Johnson County Business Bureau. Can I tell the story about how this happened? Caterpillar used to be a bronze chamber champion, and the new manager came on board, and he saw that Zaxby's was the gold. So he picked up the phone and he called Tony and said, can you explain to me why our level is lower than a restaurant? And Tony, I guess, in a great fashion said, well, if you want to write a bigger check out, I know they'll accept it. So, gold chamber champion to Caterpillar. And I mentioned her earlier. I really do believe Shop at Home has been unbelievably a big, huge help in the retail sales. Cindy Nanez, Divine Marketing Group, Gold Chamber Champion. Thank you, Cindy. Appreciate it. I was mentioning earlier to Jackie that I was driving up 42 this morning. Everybody's looking forward to that thing getting open, I swear. Jackie, Johnson Health, Gold Chamber champion. Thanks, Jackie. This one, I waited till the end to give out this one, because in my job, you come across a tremendous amount of people like Ann and Melissa who are always constantly wanting to give back to the chamber. This gentleman who represents this company not only has supported the chamber, but he has supported, every time I see somebody doing something, they're there. And I want to take this opportunity to thank him personally, because he's no longer employed there as of today. Unfortunately, Jerry Thornton is leaving Four Oaks, but I want to tell him how much we appreciate the friendship he has given to us and all the support. Jerry, come on up. Turn around, look. Now we need to recognize some and I'm going to have Kevin come up this time and hand these out. These are the outgoing board members who've been serving for the last couple of years, and we want to recognize them. She's already been recognized one time. Cindy Nanez, Divine Marketing. They do such a tremendous job, not only for our chamber, but for everybody in the community. And this gentleman had led the way. Stuart McLeod from Clayton News Star. I'm going to try to be a little humorous. Robin, come up here a second, would you, honey? I'm going to have my wife and Kevin present this one, because he has become, us as a couple, the closest probably friend that I have in this community. He does just a tremendous job for the chamber. We finally got smart and threw him off the board of directors. And we just couldn't, I thought that was funny. I don't know why nobody laughed at that. Because, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him. Jim Lee. Now, next, you're finished, sir. You may now, you want to stay up and give the rest of, stay right there. Stay right there. Let me see if I can find all these notes. James Lipkin could not be with us tonight. Unfortunately, he is basking, where, in the Bahamas? Where? Jamaica. Yeah, tough life. Oh, yeah. But he wanted me to take this opportunity to thank some folks. As all of you know, the Harvest Festival has done such a tremendous job over the years. Way before I got here, it was going extremely well. It has been going real well ever since I can remember that we've done well financially. But if you're here tonight and I call out your name, that's not applaud until I get through the whole list. We want to thank some folks that were very gracious to support the Harvest Festival this year. The folks who sponsored the Clayton Idol was Neighborhood Academy of Music, Walker, Lamb, Rudy, Costley, and Gill. I know they're here. Either that or they went out and got another glass of wine. Clayton Steakhouse, Caterpillar. The folks that were kind enough to sponsor the karaoke were the Flip Side, and also McCullers, Whitaker, and Hammer, attorneys at law. Matt, you're here somewhere. Stand up, Matt. The Kids Corner, which my daughter had a ball as a second grade teacher putting together. Premier Athletics, the folks from McDonald's, Building Blocks Child Care and Development Center, and the Wagner House. I know Kelly's here. Where'd Kelly go? Stand up, Kelly. The two sponsors that helped us with the volunteer T-shirts were Hometown Realty, the Ford Firm. And then some of our other sponsors were Cruise One, Diane Beam and Associates, who did the sponsorship for the main stage. Hudson's Hardware and Outdoor Equipment, who was our tractor show sponsor. Carolina Comfort Air, who was a bronze sponsor. Matthews Motors, who was also a car show sponsor. The Town of Clayton, who was a gold sponsor. The Clayton News Star, who was a gold sponsor. Food Line, who was a Midway sponsor, and our title sponsor happened to be Pepsi Bottling Ventures. We want to thank all of them for all the help. Some of you know it's a running joke between James Lipscomb and I. James has never seen a budget he can't bust. And I try to keep him straight, but he wanted me to personally thank the following folks, and if they'll come up. Stacy Beard. Hey! Hey! Finally brought a little class to Steve Biggs' office.
Thank you.
Clayton Morning Rotary. Charles, where you at? Clayton Midday Rotary. Come on, David.
We're running out of people.
Clayton Women in Networking. Thanks, Dave. Thank you so much. Kevin Barnes. I tried to tell him not to spend money on it. Tony Brown. The illustrious John Long.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Annette Atkinson. Annette. Thank you, ma'am. Jim Perricone. You want to come get it, Sarah? Jim had to go pick up some at the airport. Had I known last week what she was going to do to us, I would never have given this award. No, people who do snow dances and gets our banquet canceled should not get awards, but we're going to give her one anyhow. Rosa Andrews. No more snow dances. No more snow dances. Please, no more snow dances.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
And last but not least, Don Craig. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it. At this time, would you please welcome, in order to present the Ambassador of the Year Award, our 2013 Chamber Ambassador Chairperson, Vicki Adams. Vicki?
It has been my pleasure to have served as chair of the Ambassador Committee this past year. This is a hard-working and dedicated arm of the Chamber, and I want to thank every single ambassador that served. The Ambassador of the Year, however, is somebody who stood out from the rest. This ambassador could be seen at every single committee meeting of the year, nearly every ribbon cutting, and willingly volunteers to help at Chamber events whenever asked. This ambassador was also very active in the Education Committee of the Chamber. specifically the Teacher Superstar program, where she created package deals to make it easy for monthly sponsors of the programs. She was also active in the Fill the Bus campaign over the past 2 years, where she contacted her suppliers and received a massive amount of donated school supplies. She's a Johnston County native and has run a family-owned business on Main Street in downtown Clayton for over 28 years, all of which time she's been involved in the Chamber. So it is my honor and privilege to present to you the 2013 Chamber Ambassador of the Year, my friend Jennifer Lawrence.
Chuck, where you at, Chuck? Where's Chuck? Thanks for lying to her and getting her here tonight. I appreciate that a great deal. It's unbelievable, the kind of lying we've been doing for the last week to get people to show up. I have thought long and hard about the next award that I'm supposed to be presenting. And I've not written anything down, which is a mistake. Since coming to Clayton and falling in love with this community, it's been real easy to do when you have volunteers such as our award winner tonight. And I think you have to understand, I'm going to give it away real quickly, but I think you have to understand that the reason I believe that this individual is unique is he has a night shift type of job. In other words, he goes in late at night and doesn't get home till 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. And then when you're asking him to come and do something for the Harvest Festival, do something for the golf tournament, do something for the parade, the list just goes on and on. He has been telling me for years that if I ever put the Chamber in a position of recognizing him, we wouldn't be friends anymore. And I finally decided this year that Tony Brown and I and Kevin were big enough that we could take him. Luckily, we got his wife here tonight because she was working. My wife had to call her, tell her to get down here. This all caused by Rosa Andrews' snow dancing. But this gentleman really has. He has done so much for this chamber to show up at 8 o'clock in the morning, having just done an 8-hour shift at the post office. I just couldn't think of anybody better to present this award to John Long. Kevin, you present, come get a picture.
Up next this evening, presenting the Rotary Community Service Award will be Mr. Charles Markham with the Clayton Rotary Club.
Well, if you look in your program, it says Marty Bizzle. Thanks to Rosa and the snow dance, some of us Rotarians were down in Dominican last week, building latrines where it was 85 degrees, loving it. Marty was going to take over. I get back, get an email yesterday. Hey man, I need to do something tonight. You're president, why don't you report? I said, okay. So I said, do you have any minutes, anything like that? He's like, here's a little something, but you can wing it. So here we go. Again, I am president of the Morning Club, which is the original club. But what I would like to do first off is say there are two clubs. Rotarians in the room, stand up real quick. Take a look around, those of you that aren't. This is a good group. And all of them volunteer a lot. So. And again, it's my pleasure to present tonight the Rotary Community Service Award for Clayton. This award recognizes a person, not necessarily a Rotarian, who has demonstrated exceptional service to the Clayton community over the past year and who exemplifies the Rotary motto, service above self. For those of you who don't know, Rotarians pride themselves on living the truth, being fair to all concerned, building goodwill and better friendships, and being beneficial to all concerned, which is our four-way test. That's the path that we strive to live by to support our peers in our community. As this year's recipient of the Rotary Community Service Award, this person truly lives the Rotary motto, service above self, and they personify the traits and actions of the four-way test. Our recipient consistently volunteers for multiple organizations throughout our community. They are easily seen serving on the front lines and very often not seen on the back line. You've probably seen this person throughout the community doing various things, and I could name a dozen, but for the sake of time, we'll roll on. He didn't tell me to keep it short, but I feel like that's the theme. So, but anyway, this year, our recipient of the award is a fellow Rotarian. It's one of the most active members of our club, the Clayton Club. They have served faithfully on a number of committees and club events such as Stop Hunger Now, our fundraisers for the wine tasting and the Derby Day. He's transported around Clayton High School students, done all kinds of things for us. This person's the go-to guy. When you ask for something, they go to it. If you're a committee chair, first person you ask to get on your team is this particular Rotarian. They're truly deserving. They serve Clayton graciously, never wanting any attention or any kind of accolades. They just do it because that's who they are. So, it's my honor and privilege to present this year's Rotary Community Service Award to an individual that is not only a giving volunteer that supports our community, but an outstanding person, someone that I have come to know as a great friend, but most importantly, my successor as president of the club. Come on up, John, and get you another one, man.
I'm not quite sure, but I will just go ahead and ask if there is someone here from Civitan. Okay, I was informed that they weren't going to be able to be here, but I just wanted to double check because, you know, when you're the mayor, you always have friends in the audience and somebody's always going, what about Civitan? And I appreciate that. Now, what's even more hilarious is that somebody took the script when they just left the podium, so I'm not quite sure what's next. That's awesome. Up next this evening, we're going to have the 2013 Small Business of the Year Award presented, and Stuart McLeod is going to present this award. Stuart.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm not related to Jody, but I do consider him a cousin.
This is the floor class.
He does have two brothers, Don and Brent, and for the first time ever, he was at a loss for words, okay? Also, for the first time ever, somebody came up to me today and said, "Are you related to Brent?" So, Jody, your status is dropping. Anyway, small businesses are the engine that powers this great nation and this community, and small businessmen and women are the steel girders that support Clayton. As a former Clayton small business owner and currently a small business owner in another community, I'm keenly aware of the important function that small businesses play in the economic prosperity of the community that they serve. And I'm extremely proud to have the honor of presenting this Small Business of the Year award tonight. Small business owners make Clayton a great place to live, work, and play, and all our small business owners should be congratulated. If you own a small business, please stand up. Thank you. Indeed, they are the leaders. It is these men and women who bear all the financial risk and all the demanding responsibilities of running the day-to-day affairs of their business. They weather the storms, they celebrate the victories, and yes, when the stars align, they reap the rewards. Most of all, they give back to the community. They give back with their time, their dollars, and their sweat and their blood. They carry more than their fair share of the weight by supporting youth athletic leagues, the schools, the scouts, fine arts, and the charitable causes, and the list goes on. The leadership, entrepreneurial spirit, the delivery of consistent and quality customer service, and the community involvement of small business owners is what gives Clayton its unique, prosperous, and enviable economic status. This year's winner of the Clayton Chamber of Commerce Small Business Award is beyond a shadow of a doubt a leader of this community. The owner of this business far surpasses the qualifications I noted earlier. Over the years, he's taken his profits and made capital expenditures on equipment and added additional workspace to accommodate the growing demand for his services. With capital growth comes employment growth. And job creation is something that our winner tonight has done very well. Today, this business employs about 45 people. That in itself is worthy of much praise and recognition. Because of the dream of one man, numerous local families thrive because of the paychecks he writes. And those checks add up. A whole lot of dollars are circulated throughout this community because of his business. And from there, those same dollars go to support other local small businesses. And the cycle goes round and around. This year's award goes to a Clayton native who opened his business in 1986 with devoted and dedicated support from his father, mother, brother, and his aunts and uncles. His mother told me that as a youngster, our winner wanted to be an astronaut. Because of his determined will and strong spirit, she didn't doubt for one instance that that would come true. But he had to start wearing glasses. So of course, an astronaut was not to be. It wasn't long after, however, that he set his sights on a new dream. And our winner decided he was going to be a vet. And he never changed his mind. He never wavered, his mom said. Emily is his mother. Mike Bagley is that vet. He's never looked back. Dr. Mike, as he is most well known, is the most caring, gentle, and supportive man I know. His demeanor and personality are a perfect fit. His quest for excellency in veterinary care, true love of animals, and compassion for his pet patients and their families is tremendous. Dr. Mike is there with you at the beginning of your pet's life. He's also there at the end, a true friend through and through. His business acumen is stellar. Clayton Animal Hospital is a well-oiled machine. The staff of veterinarians and their assistants are top flight. They're professional, courteous, and understanding of the needs of the patients and the families that bring them in for treatment. Dr. Mike's fondness for Clayton and his people is also noteworthy. His wife Dawn and their daughters Kristen and Casey are entrenched in this community, and Dawn and the girls have been instrumental in the success of the animal hospital. Dawn serves as a pharmacist, and the girls have grown up there. Kristen's a pre-veterinary student at NC State, and Casey's a junior at Clayton High School. Dr. Mike's mother, Emily, and his big brother, Bill, are here tonight. His father, William, passed away recently, but I am certain that William is watching, smiling, and beaming with pride. Consummate professional, Mike's professional memberships are numerous. He's a huge supporter of many animal rescue groups throughout the Clayton and Johnston County. He was an original board member of the Johnston County Animal Protection League. He also works with the Johnston County Animal Shelter and the Red Barn Rescue of Clayton. Dawn and Mike are founders and longtime supporters of Clayton High School Performing Arts Booster Club, longtime supporter of the Clayton High School Athletic Booster Club and the Clayton Youth Theater. He has supported every employee and their child's school and scout project since he opened the business in 1986. And lastly, Dr. Mike and his staff have eaten barbecue from nearly every civic and church function in those years. One last story that his mother shared with me. Throughout his childhood, the Bagley family always had a dog around as a pet. Emily said they had bad luck with their dogs. They were always running out in front of a car or getting into a mess somewhere. But there was one special dog, Boots. Boots was a big old mixed breed, black-haired dog with long white stockings for feet. Mike named Boots. Emily said Boots shouldn't have been a house dog, but she and Mike's father, William, gave in and let Boots in the house. She told me that Mike and his twin brother Bill had, not his twin brother, his brother Bill had twin beds. And when she would go in to check on them at night, there was Boots sprawled across Mike's bed with Mike curled up in a tiny corner that was left. Just as he was way back then, he is now. Dr. Mike was putting the animals first. Let's congratulate Mike back.
No speech. You know, if it had been up to me, we'd have been hearing that song, "Who Let the Dogs Out?" And I know that's happened because I've seen some of that crowd running around outside going,
If I pick on one wife, I've got to pick on the others too. Dawn, thanks for lying. I appreciate it.
yeah, it takes a village. Now I'd like to introduce Mayor Jody McLeod to present the 2013 Outstanding Citizen of the Year Award. I'm truly getting too old for that. It's really awesome to live in a community of so many wonderful people and to have so many organizations step forward and acknowledge so much of the good work that everybody does to make Clayton be what Clayton is. It's always been called the Citizen of the Year, but the actual name is Outstanding Citizen of the Year. And tomorrow you're going to have people say to you, well, who won Citizen of the Year? And I want you to say, well, the Outstanding Citizen of the Year is. Outstanding. What does that mean? Thank God for Google. Outstanding means exceptionally good. Outstanding means standing out among others of its kind. This year's Citizen of the Year, Outstanding. Very good. Just making sure y'all getting it. This year's Outstanding Citizen of the Year was born and raised right here in Clayton, North Carolina. And so if you were born and raised in Clayton, North Carolina, how about you stand up? If you're born and raised in Clayton, stand up. Okay, wait, don't sit down yet. Don't sit down yet. If you are a male, be seated. So our Citizen of the Year is in this room, and she is standing. Now all of you ladies may be seated. Because I knew it. See, Stuart is the eloquent McLeod, and he's great with the pen and ink, but I knew the promotory McLeod, he better have a better way to say she, because instead of saying our Outstanding Citizen of the Year. So she is a graduate of Clayton High School, and she is also a graduate of Meredith College. She is a volunteer. She has volunteered delivering meals weekly for Meals on Wheels for about a decade. She has volunteered and collected donations for Clayton Area Ministries and Toys for Tot. She faithfully volunteers ever since 1975 with her church's prison ministry group at a North Carolina Correctional Center. At her church, she is a former early childhood leader in the Children's Sunbeam Group, and yes, I used to be a Sunbeam, and training union groups at First Baptist Church. She's taught middle school at Kinley in Wilson's Mills and Cleveland, and she coached the girls' basketball at Cleveland High School. She participates every year in the annual Christmas tree lighting, and in the past, Christmas shows held in the auditorium, where she always brought 25 to 30 of her best performing students. And this has been ongoing for about 28 years. She visits and entertains residents at area rest homes and senior apartments, out at the Bryan Center, at the Senior Center, taking another selective group of her 25 performing students and presenting residents with cards and favors. And this is done almost monthly, ongoing since 1980. She's participated in the North Carolina Easter Seals Hopping for Fundraiser with students for about 5 years. And she directed the Trick or Treat for UNICEF, Kids Helping Kids, in the Clayton area from the 1960s to the mid-1980s, raising thousands and thousands of dollars for UNICEF. And I used to carry that little cardboard box that you put your quarter in, and you have never seen adults light up when you would show them that box. And you have never seen kids so proud to turn in that box that was full of coins. She is on the advisory board for the Four Oaks Bank and Trust Company here in Clayton. She is a recipient of the Clayton Chamber of Commerce's Small Business Award. She started a kindergarten in 1963 as a morning preschool program located right over here on Lombard Street, and later added an afternoon program from 12:30 to 3:30. In 1970, she added a day-long daycare. Now let me tell you, when I was growing up in Clayton in 1970, we didn't get to go to the daycare because we had to go to grandma's. But all of us wanted to go to the daycare. She moved that daycare to its present location now on 2nd Street, which is now a learning center. She loves children. She is a mother of 6, a grandmother to 14, and a great-grandmother to 7. She serves as an unnamed ambassador for Clayton. She's been telling people how wonderful Clayton, North Carolina is and what a great community it is to live in and how wonderful your family can be in Clayton, North Carolina before we even knew the value of telling people about living in Clayton, North Carolina. She is generous. She hosts the Mosaic Gardens on East Main Street, which provides nutritious garden foods for individuals and families in need and is a gathering place for the community. She loves children. She believes in Clayton. She loves Clayton. She's been promoting Clayton. She knew Clayton was the premier community for active families before we even decided to call it the premier community for active families. She is a jewel in our community. Would you please welcome the 2014 Outstanding Citizen of the Year, Ms. Joyce Lipscomb Kennedy. Wow, can we get that? Well, we're so fortunate to have you. You have taught us what it means to love Clayton and promote Clayton, to promote families, that if you want to have an event that's successful, she knew a long time ago you can get those kids involved. And from the time that we started the Clayton Christmas show in this auditorium, outside the auditorium, going inside the auditorium, filling up the auditorium, and now having to be outside with so many people. It started with people and visionary leaders like Ms. Joyce or Ms. Lipscomb or Ms. Joyce Lipscomb Kennedy.
Well, let's not keep the list, not stopping. Where's Naomi? Naomi, thank you for lying also. There's a theme here. There's a lot of liars going on around here somehow. Well, we certainly want to thank all of you for coming tonight. We hope you've enjoyed it. We hope that you'll be back again next year. But before we adjourn, there's just a couple brief announcements. I'd like to bring your attention to your program and look inside on the page where it lists the 2013 new chamber members. These are all the folks who were kind enough and gracious enough to be able to join this Chamber of Commerce in doing the kind of things in the future that Tony talked about. Melissa Oliver asked me, I believe at the second 5-year planning committee, if I were to create a Chamber of Commerce from scratch, what would be the two most important things that we would have to have? One is governmental affairs. The second is economic development. And when I say economic development, I mean proactive economic development. Governmental affairs, because all of us in the small business world are affected by what goes on in DC, are affected by what goes on in Raleigh, are affected by what goes on in Smithfield. So these folks have joined us, and you're going to see more and more as we move on of how active this chamber is going to be in a proactive way. But if you run into any of these new chamber members, thank them for joining with you. Listed also below that are the silent auction item, the businesses who donated to the silent auction. We had the silent auction going on thanks to Hannah Pellis on our staff, Sabrina, Don Craig, Martha Stovall. And as soon as we adjourn, we're going to give it 15 minutes. Honey, how many items were not bid on yet? 3 not bid on, so please, if we haven't explained it to you earlier, this supports the chamber financially. It also supports our education committee. But I want to thank everybody who was gracious enough to donate. Second, is Mike Granis still here? Probably helping Betsy, but Mike Granis walked up to me earlier tonight and said, you know, if I were you, I'd fire that caterer. Obviously, Mike's not, I don't know where Mike's sleeping at tonight, but I don't think it's the Morning Glory Inn. But I wish Betsy was here. I think she's still out cleaning up. But I thought they did a marvelous job tonight at Morning Glory Inn. Thank them very much. The cooperation that we have received here at the Clayton Center from shifting it from last Tuesday night to this Tuesday night has been remarkable. And I thank all the folks, particularly Martha, that were involved in getting all this set up. Mayor, thank you for emceeing tonight. As usual, you did a great job. Also, thank you for the beautiful, I've heard a lot of comments about the decorations. And also, Joyce, you want to stand up? Joyce, you and Ernest, thank you so much for your donation doing the program for us tonight. Thank you so much. I do want to apologize, though, and I've been joking around, but I really mean this seriously. To those folks that we might have offended in the Cleveland community, it was not our intent to do so. I hope everybody will understand that we only had one night choice, and that was tonight. We realized we were conflicting with the Greater Cleveland Chamber of Commerce, but when you have to get someone, first of all, have a place, second of all, have a caterer, and third of all, to have our top 2 award winners be here, it was very, very difficult to find a night that all fits. So if you bump into any of the folks from Cleveland, please, please pass on to them our apology. It was not our intent to conflict with their chamber annual meeting night. And by show of how many politicians didn't come here tonight, they probably had a good crowd. Lastly, before we adjourn, unless Hannah has something she wants to tell me. Pardon me? Oh, how to pay for the silent auction. Well, we'll take it in chairs. As long as they fit my chairman over here. No, we'll take cash, we'll take a check, and we'll take a credit card. And Hannah's got the forms to fill it all out. So please go out there and fill those out. Now, y'all have your program in your hand, and if you'll turn on the back of your program, if you have a yellow dot on your program, come see me. If you have a yellow dot, now, somebody ought to get real smart and pick up the programs that nobody's sitting in. Come up here, young lady. Should be 4 of them. Should be 4, I hope. If there's not 4, somebody's not looking at the ones that aren't being used. Thanks to the good folks at Food Lion, we have a gift card for you. So who didn't get the 4th one? Well, I know you didn't get it, but somebody's got it. I put 4 dots there. Oh, here it comes. No, it's not Kelly. All right, it's out there someplace. Here, honey, you can have it. No, I get in trouble. Once again, I want to congratulate Kevin on an outstanding year. Tony, looking forward to your year. Melissa, Ann, please stand at the door. Get all the money you can for the chairs. And one final thing. In your program book, you will see a list of the top events that the Chamber is putting on this year. With the help of Sarah Martin and Kay Scott, we'll be doing the Administrative Professional Luncheon on April the 23rd. With Jeff Carver and our great golf committee, we'll be having the golf tournament on the 24th and 25th. The 24th is the social, the 25th is actually the tournament. The Business Expo will be in this building on May the 20th. the Harvest Festival, which, by the way, I'm going to be sick that weekend. I won't be here for it. Hannah.
No, he is not going to be sick that weekend. He's going to be very healthy.
No, I'm going to be sick because East Carolina's playing Carolina in Greenville, and I feel like I got to go to the EastCU Medical Center for some checkup that Saturday. But the Harvest Festival is September 17th through the 21st. Squealing on the Square with the Clayton Midday Rotary Club is October 3rd and 4th. The Clayton Christmas Parade is December 13th. If you want to get involved in these, see me, see Hannah, see Tony. We are adjourned. Thank you all for coming out tonight.